Welcome everyone to our celebration of midlife. And for anybody out there that is having a little tiny cringe moment going, I'm not midlife. Well, the average lifespan is, anywhere from 75 to 85. So if you're 40 plus, you are midlife. And the reason is important, I know, sorry, just a messenger. And the reason is important that we celebrate it is because if we really want us to stand on our truth and stand in our power as the generations that have the experience and that are our prime, and that we are at a point in our life where a friend of mine said it, it's like you're 20 again, except that now you have a credit card and a car. What are you going to do with your life? Right? We're at a point where we're past the who are we and how we're going to make it happen. We're there. Now it's just a matter of, okay, are we going to the right place? Is this the car that I want? Is the, and not literally, but figuratively, is this the vehicle that I want to get there? And you're still in time to just do so much, right? I am so excited. I've never felt more confident. If youth had our confidence, they would be invincible. So now we are here to celebrate it. And there's 23 authors in our book anthology. Love it because there's so many perspectives. And these are blue ocean, meaning there's not one person, there's not more than one person speaking about the same thing. So when you're looking at this book, it's 23 different perspectives, 23 different anecdotes and things to consider. So it's so robust, and it's just, I am so exciting. So my name is Carolina Billings, and for those of you that are wondering, why am I going on? I am the publisher, and I am the producer and overall cheerleader and coordinator, air traffic control, for our 23 brilliant mentor experts. So without further ado, we are going to get started. So we're going to get started with Judy. Where's Judy? No, there you are. And Judy is going to talk about us, about a journey of clarity, mapping your midlife movement. So Judy, tell us what got you into action to want to share this with the world?
Because I have completely experienced this piece. And when you put the title out for this book, I jumped all over it. I feel that women, particularly who have gone through what you just described in your monologue, have become to the point where they are a CEO. They're a CEO of everything that they've done, they do. And then when we get to this part of our life, we start to say, what's next? Where in the path and the road do I need to go? How do I challenge myself? How do I share my knowledge? And it was very true to my heart, because I didn't feel like I was in a midlife crisis, but I felt like I had the opportunity to take a fork in the road, that I could share these experiences and journey with other women. And I took that journey. And it's all about knowing where you are, knowing your motivation, knowing your personal why, having the clarity, and taking the 5-step process that I outline in the chapter. It's really wonderful because it takes you through the steps. It's really easy to do, but it helps you reflect and step back on everything that you have done to this point. And so often we get tied into, our identity is tied into our careers or whatever. It's more than that. As we get to midlife, there are so many opportunities, and hopefully these 5 steps will help you on that journey as you enter that fork in the road.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And the stepping back and reflecting is, even when you're doing any decorating, anything up close, you often have to step back and go okay, what does this look like, right? So absolutely brilliant. So I would like to hear from Kathy Dirksen, who speaks about awakening, stepping into new possibilities. Kathy, let us share with us.
Thank you. Yes, it's this project is exactly up my alley as well. And the focus, my company is called Inspired Tenacity. And the whole focus of my work is on helping midlife women to see that there are so many possibilities that are in front of us, and to get over that old idea that when we hit our 50s and 60s, it's time to slow down and start puttering and just kind of wait till it's over. This is the time for us to step into bigger things, to actually step into what excites and inspires us. So that's how, and I refer to it as an awakening, because I think so many of us, we do get stuck in that life of just doing life, and we're working a job we've done for 30 years, or we're looking after the family and everything else for decades, and we've lost track of who we are and what actually inspires and excites us.
Yeah, sometimes
So
we just lose track of updating ourselves, right? It's
exactly. So when we step into that whole switch in our minds that, okay, now it's my time. This is my time to think, what do I want to do? What excites and inspires me? And I'm going to go do that. And I think building a community is such a critical thing to have for this kind of process. And books like this, I think, are the perfect way for women to share their story, share their journey, and support each other and inspire each other. So thank you for bringing this all together.
Oh, I was like, thank you. Yes, all of us. I cannot wait to hear from, this is her book, and we're going to put the links and we're going to mention about it, is on my night table. Like she's the one when it comes to teaching you how to negotiate, everyday negotiations. So Lucia, you speak about negotiating with your inner voice, and I like that you say then and now.
Right. And first of all, thank you for putting this book together the way that you did, which was strategically. People are so busy scrolling social media these days that we're losing our readers. I mean, our real readers, people who actually read a book, and we're losing the readers who pick it up from the start and read it to the end. So you need to design a book where the reader can sort of go, well, what read today? What do I want to look at today? And their individual story there, and they can kind of pick it up, get it, have a little snacky, and then put it down again. And that's what you did here. So it's like, what's the mood for today? Something with negotiation, something with, transitioning or finding confidence. What are you in the mood for? And you can find something. So yes, the everyday negotiation. And I do talk about the inner voice then and now. And I do not mean that in some wishy-washy way at all. I get into some research about conflicting loyalties out of the Kellogg Northwestern Business School. And that this is not mushy stuff when I say, oh, negotiating with your inner voice. And we've all done it, and it's evolved in how we've managed it over the years and the various roles that we've also had to manage. And quite frankly, I'm not giving you answers. And I think that I've probably done my job if I actually end up leaving you with more questions than answers. And because then that's now your brain is kind of exploding, and now you're ready to go out and be more curious and poke around under the hood and ask questions and maybe see things in a new way where you don't necessarily need the answer, but it's in the asking of the questions that you start to find that strength and that confidence and that inspiration. Again, not in a mushy way.
Yeah. And the number one thing I have learned from my friendship and camaraderie and sister in arms with Lucia is the number one and most important person you're going to negotiate in your life is with yourself. And learning how to do that and go the distance with it is incredible. So thank you so much for, being a sister in arms. And by the way, all of our messaging is not for women only. It's not like we're doing some secret, only for women. It's like, no, you can take this and apply it to women, men, young, less young. And, we can, it just happens that Powerful Women Today is our messaging that we speak to the women out there and their allies. And, that's where Yusuf and Steve and Jiri come in, that, not only are they giving us a perspective, but they're also, sharing how you can assist your partners, right? If that is the case. So we have a very special guest that I know is in between some mega things. So we are going to invite to the stage a Messi, who is a VP of a global, it doesn't get more global than that, tech company in Silicon Valley. And we're so proud that you're one of our mentor experts and that you bring such an insightful stories. So Messi, share with us what inspired you to share with the world.
Thanks, Carolina. Hi, everyone. Being in the Silicon Valley and a technology leader in the Silicon Valley for women, where, let's face it, we're still a minority in this camp, has been a challenging climb, to say the least. And I've heard so many stories of remarkable, fantastic women in this valley who tried to get ahead. And what inspired me to write this chapter, which is called Botox for Career, to give voice to these women, and through their voices, really capture the power of many. We're not alone. We're not alone in our struggle. And like you said, it could be man or women, doesn't matter. In this world of corporate world of trying to get ahead, either launch your own company, or in a corporate world, get a career going and get promoted, get recognized, climb up, be someone, is very difficult. There are lots of obstacles, be it personal or be it circumstantial, around your cutthroat Silicon Valley business. And really, some people by chance make it to the top. Some people with hard work make it to the top. But my inspiration were really these women and these people around me with a variety of different stories. And I really wanted to get it out there. There are hundreds more. I only wrote a few, 6, 7 stories, but it's a bouquet.
There's
only
more to come.
The field of flowers are many.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And, you're a lecturer also at Ivy League, institution of higher learning. And so to hear that the struggle is real, a lot of women in their careers, and men, we're working to the C-suite, we're working to get to the top. And I have to tell you, we were working with Dortha on other projects, and we were trying to find quotes that are not heard that often, but that are so true. And one of the ones that we came up with was, the wind blows stronger at the top of the mountain, right? And the wind is hardest at the top of the mountain. And for all those aspiring, beautiful souls going on their way to the C-suite, it's not just getting there, it's surviving in there, it is staying in there, and it's not losing yourself in there. So your message, yes, sorry, go ahead, darling.
And Caroline, this is multi-generational. Like you mentioned, I lecture at universities, and these young talent that step out in life struggle the same way that, men and women struggle at midlife. So it is really ageless.
Yeah, it's a human experience, right? So yeah, absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. And a perfect segue is to Sally's The Gift of You. Sally, are you with us? Yes, of course she is. Of course she
Yes, I am. I've been listening. Thank you. So my chapter is really about the perfect time to rediscover and reclaim your power. And the perfect time is now, because it's really the only time, right? The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. All we have is now. And each and every moment, life presents us with a new opportunity to do that, to redefine ourselves, to reclaim ourselves. And I talk about an opportunity that I have, I'm sorry for the noise, in my life right now to do that. And it comes down to 3 steps, really. reframe whatever circumstance you find yourself in. And we do that so many ways already. When we do it consciously, though, we can actually choose the reframe that has more utility for us and that moves us in the path that we choose. The next thing to do is to determine what your values are, what truly moves you and puts you into action. And then the third thing is find opportunities every day to put those values into action so that you express them to the world around you.
Yeah, and what I love about your chapter, Sally, and thank you for joining us. And you know, one of the things that Sally and I have been working through is, and as you read your chapter, oftentimes what catches us off guard is something that we had not even thought of. Is something that completely blinds. So all the things we worry about is not likely to be the one that blindsides us. It is emergency. It is overnight. It is your life, death overnight, right? And that is Sally's story with her husband. And it's such a harrowing tale. And when she says the gift of you is, you know, I know we know it, you know, intellectually or you know, as an abstract, that is the present, is life that matters, is in the here and now. Life is short, buy the shoes, you know, write the book, take the trip, like do whatever is it that you really, that's calling your fire, your heart, because anything and everything can change overnight. We're experiencing that in the world in Sally's chapter, and it's really her testimony. This is not even, you know what I mean, a story. It is storytelling, is something that happened in her life, but it was just an awakening, a biggest, you know, this is what matters and this is how you process. So thank you so much, Sally, for joining us right now. I think I know where you are, and we definitely appreciate your being here and your commitment to sharing and opening hearts and minds, you know, in the world. So thank you so much. So we're just like, if it feels like we're all over the place, hey, that's life. It's all over the place. Any given day, if we were to document all the thoughts and everything that's pulling and pushing in our direction, you would know that you are all over the place. So right now we're going to go to, you know, midlife crisis. No way. My journey is far from over. From Dr. Patricia Schultz.
Yeah, the quote that I love, and I even started my chapter with, was from Ayn Rand, and it said, the question is really not who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me. And that was my mantra throughout the various journeys and the various directions that I took, because it was always going to be working uphill because of the bias and discrimination, particularly in my early years. So when I got to middle age, you know, I thought, of course, when I was young, I thought middle age was, over the hill, you know, what do people do with their lives? But when I got there, it was not about the limitations, but it was about the opportunities and the challenges. And I realized that it was in middle age where I became very cognizant of what I wanted to do. I dug deep and found my passion. And I think it took having years of experience before that and having the knowledge, the expertise, the experiences, all of that, to where when I got to middle age, I really understood where I was. And as I grow older, I just keep gaining in that wisdom. So, you know, I found that in my life, my spiritual foundation was very important to me. And I'm not talking religion, I'm just talking your essence, you know, who you are as a person. And that's what gave me the strength. So I quoted in here too, from me, it's, I find life exciting when you have courage and perseverance. And that's what I did. Nobody stopped me. They tried, but working around. I figured out ways to get around, go over them, around them. It didn't matter, but I figured out the way, and I got what I wanted. I achieved what I wanted. And that's my goal in the chapter, is to help women see that it's not a time to rest and just say, oh, I've done it all, there's nothing left. There is a whole lifetime ahead of you once you hit middle age. That's when I had the wisdom. I couldn't do what I'm doing now if I didn't have all of the wisdom coming up to that. I needed the wisdom that I have now to enable me to help women the way I do. I just couldn't have done this in my 30s, even in my early 40s. So for me, it's just important that, all women know that they have the wisdom, they have the talent, they have the ability, and that women in midlife, I truly believe, are a force to be reckoned with. We're strong, we're capable, and if we would just, all of us, everyone, realize that, how many gifts are inside them, and really feel their own power, we could take over the world. And it would be better. That's just my opinion, but you're muted, Carolina, you're muted.
Is one of those. Okay. So your movement, Booming Business, Booming Lives, it just reminds us that, you know what? There's all these concepts, right? Like when I was doing my research and we were discussing, technology and boomers, right? And it's like, well, who's a boomer? Every person that's leading the world in technology is a boomer. So you know what I mean? There's all these like mental narratives that we buy into that could not be farther from the truth, right? So it is so important. And you speak of courage, which is a perfect segue to our beautiful, and the fact that she is beautiful in heart, mind, and overall, which is not fair. And in her job is to celebrate and champion those to find their confidence and build their confidence, goes with courage. And that leads us to Sarah. So Sarah is really about embracing your authentic self. And here's the part that really lights my fire when it comes to Sarah's topic and her mission in Visioning Life, which when we think of empowerment, right, that means really championing people's choices and respecting their choices. So it's not about saying, oh, you shouldn't wear makeup, you shouldn't use filters, you shouldn't color your hair, you shouldn't, like, stop shooting. This is a Stacy. Stop shooting all over yourself, right? And this is why Sarah's message is so important for both women and men. So Sarah, talk to us about, embracing your authentic self. Does not mean going naked. It's your
Absolutely. I thank you so much, Carolina. I am first and foremost so honored to be with all of you. But confidence and building that confidence in ourselves is hard enough. And for all of us to come together and work together to help build each other up, to me, is a very important mission that I have been given an incredible gift to be able to be creative in the world of cosmetics, which is something that is super passionate. But it's not all about, what we're putting on. It's not about that. It's about, how does it make us feel? How do we feel when we look at ourselves in the mirror? Do we rip apart all of our faults? Do we point out that, oh, look, I've got this here, that here, this here? Yeah, we all do it. We all do it. And I just want to be the voice and the person to help remind everybody that you are beautiful and you are strong and you can do anything that you set your mind to. And I think that as I entered into midlife myself, happened to be 2020, hurricane, and in the middle of a quarantine with a toddler. So I was, needless to say, not in my most authentic, confident mind. I was barely holding it together. And then slowly but surely, I, as I've met so many wonderful people, as I start to really do the work for the inside to help match on the outside. So in the world of cosmetics, I used to wear this as a mask, and I used to hide behind it so that no one would ever see if I was sad or I was mad or I was going through something, right? But we all are, all the time, with or without it. So it's super important. I have a little baby girl. I call her baby. She's 6. She's not really a baby, 6 going on 16. And I just want to show her. I want to do my part to help send that message, build that message, and give her more opportunities as she gets older. So, oh, you're on mute.
I'm doing it out of respect for everybody and tripping myself. What I was going to say is that, judgment is both. It's a good thing and is a not so good thing, right? And we're in this world now where we're beginning to recognize that there are really no rules. The only rule is do good. Do good. That's it. How you get there, there's so many roads, right? So, you're still wearing your beautiful makeup, except now it's not as a mask. Now is, what? This is who I am, and I love it. And this is one form of self-expression. And, here I go, right? So for women and men, embracing whatever we can do that is not self-harming, of course, but, that's going to make you feel better. If
Exactly.
Using a little, whatever, a little hair dye is going to make you feel better, dye away, right?
Do it. If it's going to make you feel better to pop on a bright red lipstick, do it.
That's
if you
right.
feel like putting on lipstick is not for you, then don't.
Then don't do it.
Then don't.
Problem
Fine.
solved. We're in the problem solving business. So there you go.
It's just
So
doing
thank
what
you so
brings,
much,
show
Sarah.
up as your authentic self, right?
It's
Show up
such-
at what brings you joy and fills your cup.
Such a powerful message. And
Thank you.
this is why I get so excited about these books. It's like, yeah. Anyways, so which goes right to buying into a narrative. So, Yvonne has now been in Spain with some of my people, which you will now understand, why we do the things we do. And Yusuf has lived in Spain too, and so has Audrey as well. But, buying into a different lifestyle and a different mindset, right, is in achieving more and doing more without carrying busy as some badge of honor. That means, you're probably just you're 5 minutes from collapsing, whether it's mentally or, or figuratively or literally. And Yvonne has taken it upon herself to really be the voice and the champion of living you say it best. So I'm just going to read your chapter, which is Making Money is Easier When You Do Less. Walk us through it.
Yes, so thank you. Today I'm actually in the Netherlands, so we're everywhere. Well, the one thing that constantly happens, and I don't know, raise your hand if you recognize this, but sometimes when you're not feeling great or when your business isn't going where you really want it to go, the first thing for most of us that pop up is like, okay, I need to work more. Do you recognize this? Lift your hand if you recognize this, right? Yeah. And it's whether you have your own business, whether you're working in an organization, it's like, it's not where I want it to be. So what shall I do? Oh, I'm just going to put in some more hours. I'm just going to stretch my day a bit. I'm going to skip my lunch. Oh, I'll type while I have a sandwich. That's what very often happens. And truth be told, it helps, like for a very short period, and then it doesn't help anymore. And unfortunately, a lot of us come to this plateau where we think, oh, why isn't it working anymore? And then it kind of messes with our minds and it makes us feel unworthy. And then we go like, oh, I need to do more because I don't feel great. And then you get into this hamster wheel where you constantly work and where you're not seeing the results.
And that's what my chapter is about, how you actually can make more money by doing less. And if this sounds too good to be true, I understand, but that's why you need to read the chapter, because in the chapter, I'm sharing with you the proven methods, the proven methodology that I've worked with many of my clients, that I use to this day, and that allows me to travel, even though it's a working day, and, you know, to do all the fun things, even though I run my own business, because it is possible. And even better yet, you already have the solution in yourself. Because too often we look around us to say, okay, oh, I hear this person, they're telling me I should do webinars. Oh, I hear this person, oh, they tell me I should do podcasts. Why don't I do both? And then here you are, and you like energy work better. You like to meet people in person. That's your thing. So then don't fall for the trap of doing a webinar or podcast, how amazing they are. Just do what works for you. This is just one of the examples, but there are many, many more. And I know that right now you might be doing too much, and you could scale back in your working hours, but scale your business as a result of that.
I love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So while we're in business, because like I said, this touches many things. There are many, many, many people opting out of the workforce or beginning to activate that second, income stream, which, if there's one thing, there's only one thing that a woman cannot afford. And that is to only have one income stream. The rest, we'll talk about it. But for everybody that is beginning to either have their side hustle or level up or being in the world that we're living in, that every day is changing, everyday technology keeps pushing the limits. We are blessed to have Audrey, who specializes on technology, on making sure that you're protected. And it may seem like, what does that have to do with midlife? It's like, well, because the last thing you want to do is get into trouble at midlife. So if you can avoid it, let's. So Audrey, you write to us about avoiding business website crises. What's that about?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. I'm very honored to be among all these wonderful women, and I've learned a lot. I wrote that chapter with the thought of giving back and educating, because unfortunately, we're all so busy with our lives and running our businesses, whether they're full-time or side gigs. We don't think about the legal consequences of what we're doing. And as an attorney, I want to educate, especially women business owners. I'm a solopreneur myself. And I wanted to educate women about one of the biggest and most important assets your business has or will have, and that is your website. And you need to understand that your website, it doesn't matter how big, how small you are. It doesn't matter where you're located, your product, your service, your income. None of that matters. Once you have a website, you are on the world stage, period. All right? Unless you can figure out how to tell the technology, oh, don't go into that country, or don't go into that country, you are on the world stage. So it's not only about everything that these wonderful women have spoken about, but it's also about being legally compliant, not just with the US, but you may need to be legally compliant with other laws around the world. So I'm an attorney and I do a lot of business. My main focus is advertising, marketing, and promotions law. And I review everything marketing to help businesses be legally compliant with everything marketing. Where I spend most of my time is where most people get in trouble quickest and fastest and the worst way possible. And that is your website and your social media campaigns. You need to think about that. And when you're running your business, you're not thinking about it. And most business schools don't even teach you to know or to think about it. So I wrote a chapter about your websites. What is important to know about your website legal compliance as a form of educating business owners, no matter your age, no matter the stage of life you're in, because this is important. And the days of plug it and forget it for websites are long gone. And as technology advances, your website must change and be legally compliant along with those changes in the law and technology. It all goes hand in hand nowadays. You cannot ignore it any longer. It's not a possibility. And if you do ignore it, that's where the problems, the legal problems come in. So that's why I wrote this chapter, to try to avoid all those legal issues. Thank you so much, Carolina. And thank you.
Yeah. And it's not just about compliance, because compliance is kind of like a cognitive, you want to do it. You want to do it, right? Because, I do believe lawyers are your best friends because they help you not ever get in trouble. But sometimes it's just like mistakes or things that, that we forget to include because legislation changes every day, right? So I want to stay with the theme of technology because I want to go back to the current state of technology. So I love AI. I love all things technology, all things marketing, all that. However, we've entered a time where humanity is also our greatest asset, right? Nobody else can be you. Nobody else can be you. And the highest level of trust still remains you, for your executive presence, for your career, building, for your business building. And that's what Jackie Lepin and her movement of speak opportunity, is the number one technology is the human mind, the human brain. So Jackie reminds us that with your chapter, that really your story is your power. So tell us about that.
Well, first, Carolina, thank you for assembling this incredible powerhouse of people. And if you're in midlife, you cannot learn from a more powerful group. So power is what we're talking about. Your voice, who you are, your story. When you make it front and center, that is your gold. Speaking from your heart enables people to really set you apart. And in the world of AI, as Carolina was saying, people can be fooled by seeing words that were not really written by you or that were created to sound like you. But when they see you, when they hear you, when they get a real sense of you, either on a live or virtual stage, that's when you're irresistible. That's when you're authentic. That's when they connect, know, like, and trust. And so that's when they want more from you. Now, one of the biggest things about people in midlife, and especially women, is we hide. We are afraid to get out and bring our gifts to the world, especially if you're making a career transition. You're not sure of yourself. But it behooves you to actually step out on that stage with confidence, wherever you are, simply because you are depriving the world of your gifts. Other people, other women who need what you have. And so my chapter is to inspire you to get out on whatever stage that is, podcasts, virtual summits, TEDx, conferences, meetings, wherever you have an opportunity to deliver your message, whether that is a message of inspiration or whether that is a message that enrolls people in your programs. Either way, this is where you need to basically come forward, step up, and deliver with power who you are. And people love your story. That's when they're really going to buy into what you are and what you have. Excuse me. Now, the thing that is so empowering is that you have knowledge and wisdom and gifts. And when you're delivering it from a stage, you give them a taste. You give them a sense of what more you can bring to them. And so it's my world, in my world, what I want to do is create the opportunities for you to be on those stages. And I am proud to say that in the swag bag, if you're taking advantage of it, you're going to get a free opportunity to find those stages for yourself for a month. And, you know, whether you do it now, whether you do it some other time, jump in. It's going to give you an easier path to where those opportunities are for you to make a difference, for you to have impact. Now, one of the last things and points that I make in my chapter is in my midlife, I was ending one business and starting two others. And I am happy to say that at 72, I am still scaling up and building business so that people can have a greater pathway. So if you're thinking that your life is over at 40, 50, and 60, I got news for you. It just gets better from here. So
actually, your life gets better after 40. And I don't care what anybody says, you know, if I knew then what I know now, right, is just, oh, I love it, love it, love it, love it. And speaking of, you know, to start and to share your gift with the world, it's not just for entrepreneurs. Like, you can have a career, you can be an executive, you can, you know, be a stay-home, you know, opting out of the workforce, and you're passionate about something, right? The world is waiting for your message. And it's easy for some of us that, you know, sometimes staying quiet is what's hard. But our next speaker in our next chapter, and somebody that I love her insights, because, you know, she doesn't say much, but when she says something, it's out of the park. It's like, what? I did not see that coming. And I am so, so proud that we have representation for the introvert, that we have representation for somebody that is doing what is the most powerful thing in the world, which is listening. Listening before they speak. So the topic that she brought to the table, I was a little surprised and happy about it, because you're speaking about activating multiple income streams. And the fact that you're seeing it from the introvert perspective, and from the woman perspective, and from the, you know, like, this is for anybody and everybody, right? I love it. It's a great chapter, and it's just an intro. All these chapters are an intro. It's a way for you to get to know what makes every single one of our brothers and sisters in Powerful Women Today, in Innovate and Elevate, why they're chosen, why we co-brand, because together we come up with things that, I'm telling you, they blow your mind. So that was a long introduction for the wonderful Stephanie Oden. Go ahead.
Carolina, thank you so much. I appreciate being a part of this anthology. And I want to just take you to a room where I'm sitting, and I'm the only female, only person of color, and I'm sitting in the room surrounded by other executives. I've reached the level of what they said that I should do, right? I've got the engineering degree, I've got the MBA, I got the 2 kids, 2 cats, the dog, 1 husband. And by all the means, I have arrived at this place in my career. And some of you who are in a corporate space will understand the term HiPot, right? That I was labeled year after year after year, HiPot. Of course, you couldn't tell anybody you were HiPot because, you know, you didn't do that. But that's the place that I was. And I also remember distinctly the point where I realized that I was unfulfilled in ways that mattered most, and knew that I was not living out my true potential. And it was at that point that I started to explore other avenues, and actually tripped into being an entrepreneur, because my goal was to do something meaningful with passion that I enjoyed, that fed a place in me that I could continue to learn. And to be able to share my story, and especially being an introvert, because people do have their thinking when it comes to being an introvert that, oh, you're quiet and you're shy and you're timid, and, oh, don't say anything to them. But what I've been able to do as I've evolved and diversified and continue to grow is really blow that myth out of the water, because I'm not shy and I'm not timid. And I wouldn't have done that if I had not diversified and looked at other streams of income. I didn't have to hate my job. A lot of people think that, oh, you have to hate it. I didn't have to hate my job to know that I was meant for more. And so in my chapter, I lay it out straight language of a journey that I took. And my goal is to inspire others to be able to grow, even if you don't diversify with another stream of income, to look at options to help you even be successful in your career, if that's what you choose to do. So I am excited and thrilled and thankful to be with this powerhouse group here. And thank you again, Carolina.
So speaking about getting to the top and also staying at the top, right? And, and I love the courage because, especially when you work for someone else, right? To take on thought leadership and to take on all of that. Stephanie's an engineer, and normally, you may think many engineers are not taking to the airwaves to champion, diversification of their interests and in their mission and vision. And it goes to show you it's a different world. There's no such thing as stereotypes anymore. If you're still hanging on to those, let it go. So speaking about getting to the top and staying at the top is Dortha Heiss, who, I don't know where she gets her energy. So I am going to just pass on the mic and let you tell us how that works.
Well, thanks for that introduction. And hi, everyone. I'm really grateful to be here and so thrilled to be part of this amazing panel of powerhouse knowledge, wisdom, and really where my chapter came in is, I have a hybrid in my life, and that is that I'm hardcore in my business and I'm hardcore. A lot of people know in this community, if you're new to me, you don't know this yet, getting out in nature and like being very hardcore. One of my first outdoor experiences was taking a 45-mile backpacking trip over 3 days. And it was so much fun. I got super into it. And so now my husband and I maximize all of this time that we can getting out hiking and backpacking. And one of the gifts that I received in one of those trips was the connection to nature, the ability to, take time to commune with the people I was with, to have my spiritual time. And when I got home, I felt so much peace around so much that had been going on in my life, which is a whole nother chapter in a different book. And what that told me was that the time in nature was so profound and so touching to my soul that I wanted to share that message with other people that are high achievers and are high functioning in their business and just go, 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 go. And so I kind of have brought this into my business in a way that I was able to help people understand that taking time for self-care isn't selfish, and it's actually essential. It's not a splurge. It's not a negotiable. And taking time to do it is really critical so that you can show up better in your business, so that you can do more in your business. You can show up in all of the areas of your life. And I really, I'm passionate about that fusion is what I talk about in my chapter. And the one thing I want to leave you with is actually from my chapter is, pardon me while I'm not able to get it to come around. So the profound truth about midlife is that it doesn't have to be a crisis. It doesn't have to suck the vitality from our existence. Quite the contrary, in fact. I believe it's a time of empowerment, boldness, and what I like to call badassery. So I'm going to leave you with that. And thank you so much, everyone.
So if you're following this story, this is a story with stories in it. So we've discussed awakening, technology, multiple income streams, confidence. So stay with us, because as we keep building onto this story, you'll find out some of the most powerful messages that are coming. And that's why it's not that they're at the end. It's like we want them to be at the end, because we want to be some of the last things that we walk away from. So, we have Stacy speaking to us about age as an asset, followed by Yusuf about the glass half customized. So let's talk about that, Stacy.
Well, thank you. And thank you all for the wisdom that you've shared. And what I'm going to say to everyone is I ditto the conversation that, let's say, the second third of our life is the most powerful. I like to say that the first part is our personal growth era. That's where we're exploring what it means to be us. That's where we get to explore how we want to be with other people, who we want to be with, how we want to show up in the world. And then right around that midpoint, we start getting into that mindset, or at least I have, where we say, WTF, right? I'm going for it. I don't care. This is what I want to do. If we allow ourselves to say that. And so in my chapter, I talk about I've been perverse since I was a child. Anybody who knows me knows that. You tell me I can't do something, I will say, really? We'll see about that. I know that's not the way a lot of people are, and that's why I wrote my chapter the way I did, because I wanted to give all the examples of where somebody would have said, Stacy, because of this, you can't. I wanted to show that if we don't buy into that, we definitely can. And I'm going to give you a little story here that I didn't put in the chapter, I realized. I worked for an ad agency for my first job for a number of years. And I went from being a very green new assistant account executive to being very capable, but still having the title after 5 years of assistant account executive. And I had a client who I used to go on client meetings without the founders and the owners and the big account executives. And one day my client said to me, I adore you. You are smart as a whip. I don't understand why you're still called an assistant account executive. And it's an insult to me, meaning to her. It was an insult that she was paying for the top and getting an assistant. And so she said to me, it is time for you to go stand up for yourself. She said, because I'm going to put my account on your head. If you don't go stand up, I'm going to leave anyway. She said, you can go tell them that. And so, of course, it was 3 guys from the Mad Men era. It was after Mad Men, but not that long after. And I'm going to tell you, I was 27, and you might say, that's not midlife. And I'm saying this is what prepared me. Thank goodness for her. Because I went back and I said to him, what she told me. I said, I would call her, because if you don't give me the title, she's going to walk. And he said to me this is about money. I'll give you've earned it. I'll give you a promo. But Stacy, you're 27 years old. You're a woman. Nobody will ever believe you're an account executive.
Wow.
It actually said, and to wrap it up, I'm going to say to you, those were fighting words for me. Kept my mouth shut, started job hunting, became manager of marketing for Budget Rent-A-Car Corporation for the United States and Canada, all of the US, all of Canada. And once I had the job, I went back in and I said, you can give me the role of account executive? He said, I already told you, nobody's going to take you in seriously. And I said, well, maybe not for that. I'm going literally across the street was where my office was. Watch me walk across the street because I'm now manager of marketing for Budget Rent-A-Car Corporation for the United States and Canada. And that's, I pray for everyone before you get to midlife, you have somebody that inspires you that way. If we're already there and we're doing that for you, then we've done our job.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. This was a little nugget of bonus, not in the book. Yusuf, a glass half customized.
Yes, thank you very much. I want just first to mention that there was a word that has been, or an expression that has been repeated many times in this session, which is powerhouse, because this is really what we stand for. And if you're thinking that powerhouse is gender attributed, no, it is definitely gender neutral, because our power is by our togetherness, regardless of our gender. My chapter, I want first just to show you my glass of water. So if you see that glass, most of you, I'm sure, think of it like we have always been taught. It's half empty or half full, right? And like you, I was looking at my life the same way, whether it is half empty or half full. And that by looking to this glass, I realized that I was not drinking enough water to be sufficiently hydrated. And you know what? I found out that it was not about the glass, whether it was half empty or half full. It was about the tastelessness of the water that I didn't appreciate. So the moment I started adding to my glass of water ice cubes and a dash of lemon juice, I started enjoying my water and drinking it more and staying hydrated as I wish I could. So that's the inspiration for my chapter title, which is, we do not have to look just one way or the other. Our life can be full of flavors at any time, at any age. And I share in my chapter different lived experiences. Some will call them crises, some will call them opportunities. It's up to each one of us to choose how we want to look at it. And I want just to remind everyone that midlife crisis as an expression was coined first by studying man behavior. And it was in an article called, unfortunately, Death and Midlife Crisis. Like there is a link between the two. And then when it started shifting toward the physiological changes of women, it started reaching women. And then, as if it was not enough, we started talking about quarter life crisis and then third life crisis, like if crisis is just an inevitable period of any time of our life. So this powerhouse and this book ontology, it's really a call for action. It's a reminder that it's not every time that we challenge ourselves first and we set new intentions, new goals, it means that we are going through a crisis. Just think of it. It doesn't mean that you are looking at the glass half empty, but just maybe you don't like the liquid that is inside the glass. You don't like the content. So just add flavors to it. So once again, thank you very much for all of you. I'm really impatient to read all the chapters. I already read some and I know you all, and I'm very happy to be part of this powerhouse. Thank you.
So as we wrap up, we saved specifically these two thoughts to wrap up. One, living your life in semi-coma, from my sister in faith, Mindy. Mindy's one of the founding members of Powerful Women Today. And her and I can tell you we've grown up together in the last 5 years. It is amazing. I'll let her tell you. Is absolutely uplifting. And then we close our getting to know our mentor experts. I leave my chapter for you to read it when you download the book. getting to where is not see. Oh, did she leave? No, she can. Oh no, Susan Patterson, because Susan says, do it. She challenges us to do it. So Mindy and Susan, and then we'll wrap this exciting thing.
So, life coma. Are you experiencing that? I think we all have. There's so many people that are coming up to me and they're like, Mindy, I feel like I've been in a coma in life and I'm ready to wake up. And so my book is this chapter around waking up from our life coma. You know, COVID shook us all up, but I see all of these women and men going back to their lives the way that it was. They've made no changes, nothing different. And they said, oh, COVID, they found the silver lining. But now people are going into their life coma like they had before. We've been walking around like zombies. And so the purpose of the chapter is really a culmination of everything that we've heard here today. It's wake up, look around you, find your passion, do the unthinkable. I just left a 17-year career at a very highly sought after healthcare organization to do this business. And I wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for being a part of Powerful Women Today in this powerhouse. So my chapter is about how to get out of that zombie, how to get out of that life coma and living like a zombie, and coming in and waking up and following your dreams. The thing that you always said, oh, I wish I could do that, Mindy, but I'm just a little too old. No, you're not. We can all wake up. We can all do what we've always wanted to be, because everyone deserves the magic that you have to share. So thank you.
Thank you. And Susan, do it.
Thank you, Carolina. And thank you, everybody, for allowing me to be part of this group. I'm just so impressed by everyone here, and I appreciate being included in this group. I'm on my third career, and my struggle with midlife led me to discover that I have a creative power that I had taught to other people, but I had never enjoyed it myself. And through my evolving through my life experiences, I found out that I have an enormous and ferocious power. And it's not just me. It's women who have had the experiences, who've learned through what they've lived through. Tragedy, joy, wonderful life, all of it brings you this incredible ferocity of power that you can take and use to be a creative person any way you want to. You can use it because it's yours, it's unique, it's personal to you. And so my chapter, I wanted to share a few of my experiences, but mainly it's about suggestions, ideas about how to be creative. And since I'm a writer, it focuses a lot on writing and spending time recording your experiences and your wisdom and sharing that wisdom. But the things I've written about in this chapter can be applied to any type of creativity in your life. It can be your career, a business. It can be music, dance, painting, or writing. And I just want to share with the world that this is the moment. This is your time. This is your shining moment to be you.
Love it. So thank you for sharing this time with us. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. For our guests that are here and I guess that registered to get the book, thank you so much. Time is the greatest gift, and we cherish and value and thank you for spending this time with us. So you are going to receive the link to download today for free your copy of Midlife Without Crisis. You also get a swag bag and you get a surprise bonus. And I thank you, whether it's you or someone you know that can benefit from listening to these uplifting messages and to see that they're not alone, right? That is the best gift that we can give. So my name is Carolina Billings, and I thank you for joining us. And I thank you to my brothers and sisters on the stage for trusting me, trusting each other, that our voice is our legacy. This is us living our legacy. So thank you, everybody, and go download. Thank you. Bye.